Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. Today I'm going to review and demonstrate Constellation Zero Hu Tao's capabilities with a Refinement R1 Lithic Spear. Keep in mind this is my day 1 impressions of Hu Tao, and for most of this video I'll be using this team, which happens to match up exactly with the entire Hu Tao banner. miHoYo was very deliberate with this banner and put the best 4-star Lee US supports for Hu Tao on this banner. And if you're lucky enough to get some constellations for these supports, that's when they really start to shine. Take Chongyun as an example. If you get him to Constellation 2, his reduced cooldown really helps with Xingqiu's cooldowns as well as with Hu Tao's cooldowns. As for Xiangling, her Constellation 1 and Constellation 6 both increase Hu Tao's damage output. As for Xingqiu, most of his constellations help himself, and in this video, all 3 of these supports are actually very under-leveled and none of their talents are really leveled, so this is definitely a video that will be focusing on Hu Tao's relative power level with these characters to support her. Now, Hu Tao is an interesting character by design. She rewards you for switching off of her and doing stuff with your supports by boosting their crit rates. This is unlike most other carries in the game, where there is a serious opportunity cost to switching. Take Ganyu for example. If you switch to supports and do stuff, you're sacrificing shooting charge shots with her. That could be 1 or even 2 charge shots that you could have shot, but instead you're using your supports. Take Xiao as another example. You literally can't switch off of Xiao during his burst or else he loses his burst. So you can't switch off of him for 15 seconds, and 15 seconds is a really long time in this game. Hu Tao, on the other hand, has built-in downtime, and you'd actually be hurting your own performance by keeping her on the field during her downtime. As such, this group of 3 Lee US supports, which happen to be from the banner, happen to also work exceptionally well with her. Combined with the Lithic Spear and the weapon banner, and you have an instant gratification team at your disposal. Next, I wanted to talk about what she's capable of. In terms of damage output, this free-to-play achievable Hu Tao is easily able to 9-star Abyss 12 with these 3 poorly built supports. Now 12-3 was a bit tricky because with her at extremely low HP, it was hard to survive the Geo Shockwaves. So if you do happen to have Zhongli, you can pair him up with Hu Tao to pretty much trivialize the difficulty. But even without Zhongli, you can see that I was comfortably able to clear Abyss 12 with Hu Tao as the primary source of damage. So now I want to talk about power creep again. And I wanted to point out that because of this pattern of new characters always being powerful, I don't actually think that you'd need to pull for her. Since I like her design, her annoying personality, her seiyuu, and her giant nuking potential, I wailed for her. From my initial impressions, I believe that she is very good and has a lot of potential. Simply put, this is just going to be the new norm moving forward for main damage dealers like Hu Tao, Ganyu, and Xiao. Speaking of which, if Hu Tao's role of a really strong DPS for 9 seconds, but is inherently risky to play because of her needing to stay at low HP, if that's something that you need, then Hu Tao might be the character for you to gun for. One really nice thing about her is that you don't need her burst to be up, unlike a character like Xiao. So if you don't have a top tier DPS character and you like Hu Tao, well, maybe it's time for you to actually pull for Hu Tao. Ultimately, in the future though, there will always be new and better 5 stars that will be released. But as of right now, she is very good for the current content. So if you were worried about her damage output and practicality, let me just say, don't be. The next thing I want to demonstrate is that it is super easy to get large burst numbers with her. Just hit something with Cryo or even Hydro and then press E then Q. Unlike Child or Mona who have their fair share of clunkiness to use their bursts, Hu Tao's big burst numbers have been the easiest to execute so far. In fact, even with this free-to-play build, my Hu Tao is able to hit well over 300,000 damage with her burst, of course using Mona and Bennett as a combo. So next, let's also talk about how strong my Hu Tao is, and also talk about just how much room she has to improve. My Hu Tao only has level 6 basic attacks, and if you're planning to use her as your main DPS, you'll want to level up her basic attacks a lot. Because of this, my Hu Tao's basic attacks are hitting like a wet noodle compared to how much they can potentially do. On top of this, both the Dragon's Bane and Staff of Homa outperform the Lithic Spear, at least if you run a vaporized comp like I was running with Xingqiu. For specifically the Dragon's Bane, the Staff of Homa will pretty much just always outperform the Lithic Spear. You can expect your Hu Tao with proper investment to perform even better than my Hu Tao if you have the Staff of Homa, higher refinements on the Lithic Spear, or if you run a vaporized comp with the Dragon's Bane Spear. Anyway, my 2 cents is that Hu Tao is amazing. However, my other 2 cents is that you should only pull for her if you like her, or if you really need a main DPS right now. If there's still footage playing in the background, I'll let it play out, but as usual with my first impression videos, I don't always talk through the whole thing, so as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Win to Lose, signing out.